All right, everybody, right here we have the OG in black, the new Manu in yellow, and the Stoke in the pink Fandango color. You can see how much more rocker there is on that Manu. And you can also see that double edge going on there. Definitely a way harder chime and edge all the way into the bow than both the Stoke and the OG. The OG is definitely the smoothest looking. Stoke being close second, and you can really see the edginess of that Manu there. And even with that edge, you really don't feel it too much until you're really kind of leaning over on edge to catch an eddy or carve into something. And look at the difference there of the rocker. This is a Stoke on this side and the Manu in the middle. I think where you're gonna see some of the biggest difference here is the size of the stern. The overall height of the kayak is a lot taller than the Stoke. You can see the difference in that length there. That's 6 inches. The Stoke and the Manu are both 9 feet, and the OG is 8'6". All the bows are at the same point there. You see the difference there in that black OG being a lot shorter. Really obvious where that Stoke's rocker starts, just by that stern grab loop. I think that the Manu has a little bit more gradual stern rocker than the Stoke, but very similar amount. If we look at them here, kind of look at the stern rockers, they're all pretty similar. I'd say that Manu is a little bit higher than both the others. It has a little bit of that anti-rocker on the end there, more like a Stoke. The OG's kind of just finishes nice and they're all very similar boats in looks. They definitely paddle differently though. The Manu is definitely the driest bow out of all of these kayaks, and I think that the amount of volume plays a big role in that, and also just the extra bow volume. That bow is just really impressive on the Manu. It goes really high. We got somebody pulling into the shop here. Okay. So here we have the bottom profile of the OG and then the bottom profile of the Manu. You can really tell the rocker difference there. And essentially, the Manu is the baseline of the OG stretched out to 9 feet, and the rocker profile, the same exact rocker profile of the OG, is held throughout the extra 6 inches. So those extra half foot, the rocker profile just continues at the same rate as the OG's rocker profile. And the biggest difference obviously is just, you know, when the OG came out, we thought that this was a big sharp edge here. And now we can see this edge profile on the Manu and how much more aggressive it is, that double edge. But like I said, when I'm paddling this boat, it doesn't feel like an edgy kayak. It just feels like those edges want to engage when you want them to engage. Yeah, there's the difference. Then we'll get the Stoke up as well and compare those. Okay, here is the Stoke and the Manu. The Stoke's edge is very similar to the OG's edge. It gets a lot lighter near the bow and a lot lighter near the stern, but it's very pronounced there in the middle. Another thing with the stern of the Stoke is it tapers in a lot more, and that squared off end is definitely a little bit more narrow than the Manu's. It's good comparison between the Stoke and the Manu because they're the same length, so you can kind of get a better idea. But yeah, you can see once again that bow rocker on the Manu is just so much more obvious. And there you go. Those are the 3 main Waka boats. Much bigger that stern is. That's where a lot of the volume of the Manu is. So much more pronounced there. Look at that stern rocker of the Manu.